So let's go ahead and change the brake pads on the Shimano hydraulic brake, which has been prepped with cleaning. And just in case you're wondering, what is this noise? Well, I'm cooking the chicken, cleaning the chain over there. Yes, the brake needs cleaning so you can actually see the components. So step one, remove the pin with whatever you like. You can grab it with pliers, whatever you have. I'm going with this tweezers here. So there's the pin. So that was a cotter pin or safety pin, but if you follow this retaining pin around to the other side, this is what you see. Put your screwdriver on it and remove this retaining pin. Only the pin, not the brake pad, the pin itself. And of course you need to clean it right about now. Clean it, brake dust, whatever. When you're working around your brake, don't breathe in any of the brake dust. It's really bad for you. Yeah, you can tell your brake pads are worn when there's barely any brake pad material left on it. So right about now is a good time to take out both brake pads and the spring plate between them. Yeah, both of these are pretty worn down to 1 millimeter. Yeah, throwaway pads. Clean this spring plate. Yes, this is keeping the brake pads apart from each other. And then inspect your brake disc, brake rotor for both sides for gouge marks or any kind of deformities, and measure its thickness. The wear limit is printed on most brake rotors for obvious reasons. Yeah, measure it with a pair of vernier calipers. You're not just eyeballing it. And of course you're measuring the brake disc at the brake pad level, not at the rim here where it can be thicker, not past the brake pad here where it's also thicker. No, it's obviously thicker beyond that line. Yes, so you're measuring where the pads run, taking a reading. This one is at 2.0 millimeters. It's dead on 2.0. And yes, 1.55 has 2 decimal places, so you're measuring it to 2 decimal place accuracy. Once you're doing one of the brakes, you might as well check both, because the front brake pads might wear 2 or 3 times faster than the rear brakes, depending on how you brake. So it's a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio typically. So what I do is I grab the half-worn brake pads from the front brakes and put them to the rear. So these are the rear brake pads. They are worn down to the rivet and beyond. Ouch, sorry about that. I absolutely don't like this big wide bend in the middle where there is no brake pad really left. I'm wearing the mounting rivets. Ouch, sorry about that. So over here are the brake pads from the front. Solid brake pad material everywhere. Yes, obviously the new brake pads are twice as thick as these brake pads, but these will work perfectly fine to replace the rear brake pads. So to assemble, you're making a brake pad sandwich. Right brake pad here. Put the spring clip in place. Cover it with the left brake pad. Make sure the pad is properly seated in relation to the spring, just like this, yes? All done with the left hand, okay? Whatever hand you like to use. And then it goes onto the bicycle and gets plugged into the caliper body, like so. You're gonna have to keep this sandwich together accurately because the spring has a hole in it. That hole goes through the backing material of the brake pad, and the holes all need to line up for this pin to slide through. So here is the sandwich. It goes into the caliper body with the left one on the left side of the bicycle, yes. Check the letters there. Left side goes on the left side of the bicycle. Before you push the brake pads all the way in, make sure that the holes are still lined up, and then push everything together in place. There, that should be easy to push the pin through, yes. And there, slide the sandwich through there with the spring clip in place, and then put the retaining pin back in place. Let's see how we can get this done. There, easily. Nice. So it should slide right through, and then thread it in, grab a screwdriver, tighten it. So how much force to apply on this tightening? Well, I don't even use the whole screwdriver, I just gently tighten it, yes. What's holding the pin in place is the cotter pin on the other side. And then grab your cotter pins and put them back on the pin. There, make sure it is seated properly. Nice. When the bike is upright, I like the tiny cotter pin oriented upright on both brakes. Just easier to check it that way. Now check your brakes. Does the brake rotor fit in the gap between the pads? Of course it doesn't, because the brake pistons need to be pushed further apart. So I grab the screwdriver and open up the brakes, not by the brake pad material, but by the backing, okay? I'm not gouging out the brake pad material. I'm just opening up the gap by rotating the screwdriver, like so. So I'm widening the gap incrementally on the corners by prying on the corners of the brake pad backing metal plate, yes. You can do this with putting a wooden stick in between here, or if your brake pads move enough after a while, you can do this with your screwdriver like this, with the flat sides or the flat part of it, okay. It should just reset very nicely and gently and gradually. And there, you have to reset the brake and open up the distance between the brake pads nice and wide. Nice. Obviously the wheel rotates and it's not touching either of the calipers, but the center of the disc is not at the center of the gap in the caliper body. So I think I want to move the caliper body 1 millimeter to the right. Yeah, it's too close to the caliper body to my liking. There is a clearance, obviously. It's not making any contact sounds. So move the whole caliper body, undo the 2 bolts on the underside and move it 1 millimeter that way. There, that's much better looking positioning of the caliper body. The brake disc is running in the center of the opening. And the wheel is of course penduluming, finding its center of gravity and freely moving back and forth multiple times. And this one is ready to ride. Inside a new package of brake pads, you will find the brake pads with a new spring clip that will hold the brakes apart, so you don't have to clean the old one. The gunk on it, the hardened brake dust on it, does interfere with the operation. So look at the thickness of the new brake pads. This bevel here at the edge is intentional, so there's nothing wrong with it. And that's how it should look. I'm installing the new pads with the new spring plate for the front brake on the bicycle. The left side is going to the left side of the bicycle, and keep the holes lined up pretty precisely there as you install the brake pads. Same thing happened to the front brake. It's too much to the right hand side and it's making a contact sound, so I'm gonna move the whole caliper body 1 millimeter to the right. Loosen that bolt and that bolt and move it over. But that's another video, and of course you need a torque wrench for this. But bottom line, everything is centered, nothing is making a contact sound, and the brake pads are moving exactly the same distance on both sides. There. You can also see the wheel is freely penduluming and finding its center of gravity. So this one is ready to ride.